January 2019 marked the centenary of the First Dáil. The occasion was celebrated in Dublin's Liberty Hall by a large gathering of Republicans, socialists, communists, trade unionists and progressive political activists. Not only did those present celebrate the historic events of 100 years ago, but in keeping with the occasion, declared their commitment to building local people's assemblies, or Peoples Dalaí, throughout the country. The attendees also signalled their approval of a document, a democratic programme for the 21st century, as the basis around which to organise.
There is a need for local people's assemblies, it was argued, in order to give people at the grassroots an opportunity to impact directly on decisions affecting their daily lives. While it has always been acknowledged that universal franchise is an essential aspect of democracy, the fact that this can usually only be exercised once every few years has limited people's power. It is a cliché that elected politicians all too often renege on promises made during election time, but there is a measure of truth in this observation. The contemporary system of parliamentary democracy does, moreover, give unfair advantage to those with access to mainstream media and those with sufficient funding to maintain a political party machine.
There is too the question of a democratic deficit that applies on both sides of the border. And this is quite apparent when we look at the north, where the final decision making actually rests with the British Parliament in London. And we all know that they care little, very, very little for the people of the 6 counties. When we look south of the border, we know there has been a diminution of democracy over the last decade, as the Fine Gael government has abolished an important level of representation when they did away with the urban councils. Moreover, in the Republic of Ireland, there's the profoundly undemocratic Senate with its highly restricted franchise. And it has to be recognised that the institutions of representative democracy frequently, if not always, confine activity to a specific agenda or the order of business. And there isn't much movement outside of this order of business. It's restricted to that. Making the administration of the affairs pertinent to that institution is its real objective, rather than actually facilitating the campaign and issues. So we don't actually get into the issues of the people. You're stuck to the strict agenda of what an institution wants. This is not democracy. While these types of issues may be highlighted from time to time or occasionally acted upon, it's usually only the mass movement that makes a compelling case to enact legislation supporting each of these campaigns.
Local people's assemblies, on the other hand, facilitates what may be best described as direct or participatory democracy. This happens through a simple process. Issues of immediate concern are raised locally, and people organise to articulate their demands and put pressure on those who have the power to answer these demands. On a wider scale, if and when an issue impacts regionally or nationally, there is a network for people to organise and put pressure on regional or national centres of power. Lastly, since local people's assemblies convene on an ongoing basis, this machinery is available on an ongoing basis. This means that there is a constant and permanent mechanism to monitor local and national government. This in turn means that those in office cannot take steps to deal with a single issue campaign and thereafter ignore the popular will. In short, people's assemblies, or Peoples Dalaí, enhance and expand democracy through empowering people at the grassroots.
The first local People's Assembly, or Peoples Dáil, was actually established recently in Tyrone with a 3-person steering committee being nominated on the 9th of November 2019. It is the intention of those working with the Tyrone People's Assembly that they'll provide a pilot model and encourage other areas to follow suit. And since then, we actually have set up another People's Dáil in County Fermanagh here, and it has been active since. I've been involved in it myself, and we have been engaging with the local community groups and participating in a number of grassroots campaigns.
Suggested first steps for activists intending to establish a local Dáil.
Identify and contact a number of potential activists willing to participate in establishing a local assembly.
Explain to members the concept underlying and reason for building a local People's Dáil. Use the explanatory educational video to do so.
Maintain contact with the Secretary of the Peoples Dalaí, and all the while reminding participants of the importance of promotion of a democratic programme for the 21st century as the basis around which to organise.